We have, as Dallas pointed out, been dealing with a lot of problems. In 1944, there was something called the Flood Control Act, also known as the Pick-Sloan Act, on the Missouri River, which dammed that river. And it created a series of dams where the stars are located. Those dams, incidentally, each were below a reservation. So it flooded our reservation lands in the late 1940s, early 1950s, which is when our tribes were forced into a cash economy. So 2 bodies of water that we were forced to have upon our land by the US government that then became our main drinking water sources for our people. When we were forced into this cash economy, we started taking care of our reservoirs, Lake Sakakawea, Lake Oahe, and saying, okay, this is what we're forced with by the federal government, and so we will now use these the way they tell us to. There were villages. So if you look at the dark blue, that's the original Missouri River. And the light blue is then Lake Sakakawea, the flooded area. They removed us completely, displaced us, and this was the second time because we were put on this reservation in 1860 against our will. That's why it's called Fort Berthold. And 9 of our villages and communities were completely inundated. We were forced out. We fought the government then and we lost. We have graveyards that are still down there. Back then, we had all of our own resources. We were farming tribes, so we had corn, squash, beans. They flooded all of our Class 1 and Class 2 agricultural lands in this transaction. Some people don't understand that every single bit of the over 11,000 miles of rivers, lakes, and streams in North Dakota was contaminated with mercury before the oil extraction in the Bakken even started. So this assault is on top of that. North Dakota started seeing rigs like this everywhere. Around 2006, we started being attacked by the industry. Instead of having these natural gas captured, it was a byproduct of the industry. And so the flares go into the air and we're breathing that in. Our kids are getting sick. I'm a cancer survivor already as a result of the industry. Meanwhile, we have our communities being devastated by man camps, by sex trafficking, by women and children being raped, by men coming into our communities, by drugs tearing us apart. This is the kind of sickness that goes into the pipeline now. The community of Bismarck is a 93% white community. That dotted line is showing you where one of the pipeline routes originally was, and they said, no, we do not want it. It's very important to remember that the dark line is where the pipeline route did go through because it wasn't impacting Bismarck anymore. It was impacting the tribe. And then it was approved. And then it was okay. Motiva is the dirtiest oil refinery in the United States. And it is now 100% owned by Saudi Arabia, who is now investing $2 million into renewable energies, but of course they should, because they can have a plant in the United States to be polluting. And what comes out of the Bakken, where we get all the pollution, continues out to other countries. This is August 2016, when our women broke down the fences and ran out into the fields with their war cries, running out, putting up their flags, stopping the machinery and equipment. This is when a call out went out to the rest of the world. Help us. Stand with us at Standing Rock by LaDonna Allard, and a landowner that lives close. And she did not know that so many people would come, but within 2 days, 200 people showed up. Women started to get arrested. We started doing actions in Bismarck. August is when they put up the barricade that Dallas talked about on the road. But the reality is that we were literally attacked by the United States military and police forces from 7 states. We were shot at with less than lethal weapons. But at a close range, they are deadly. Sophia Volansky still doesn't have proper use of her arm because she was hit by one of these smoke bombs, grenades, we're not entirely sure. Person standing next to her said it first hit her in the chest and then bounced onto her arm before it exploded. What would have happened to her? Look at her arm. What would have happened to her if it hit her and exploded on her chest just seconds before? Susie Desba is blind for the rest of her life in her right eye because she got hit by a rubber bullet in her face. People were almost paralyzed when they were hit in the back, shot in the back by cowards. When people went into the medics on November 20th, there were over 500 people that went into the medics. All of these shots were in the groin area and in the face. They were purposely shooting at us, using us like target practice in the face and in the groin. That was all done by the police and the Army National Guard to protect a pipeline against people who wanted to protect their water. Please take a look here. Look at mazaskatalks.org, because what we're doing is divesting in this campaign. We're taking our money out of the banks. We're taking back our power by taking their power away from them. This fight was not lost by any stretch of the means, and the fight is not over. We're continuing to fight in the Bakken, which is where the source of this pipeline comes from, and that is why we say keep it in the ground. Do not extract it in the first place. Waterprotectorlegal.org is where you can go and help those nearly 800 people who are still going through the court system right now, today, fighting against a crooked political system. And if you want to learn more, you can go to earthjustice.org and look at the litigation, and then visit us at the Indigenous Environmental Network at indigenousrising.org. Let's not forget that just because it's not in mainstream media anymore, that we're not still there. Because we are. We're still there, and we're still fighting, and we still need the world to hear us. Matsigadodz, everybody. Thank you.